Good morning and Happy New Year to all of you in 2024. Clearly, the New Year's resolutions are going well. Look at all these people here. I love it. I love it. Whether this is your first time or you've been just coming for a little bit or been coming forever, it's so good to have you here today. I'm the Reverend Nick Cable, and I serve gratefully this congregation here at UUCCI. Today's the first Sunday of the new year, and with it will come a ritual of helping us to let go of what we want to let go of and pick up what we need for this coming year. And I'm glad all of you are here and to participate in this ritual. After the service, instead of having a receiving line, we'll actually, those who wish, to grab a coat and meet Chris and I out at the fire pit because, as it might say, there will be fire included in this service, but not here because of our insurance company said so. They called me. So please do join us after the service. You can grab a coat and go down to the fire pit for the final step in our fire communion service today.
All righty, so our opening words this morning are by Sarah Eileen Lawal, Out of the Flames. Out of the flames of fear, we rise with courage of our deepest convictions to stand for justice, inclusion, and peace. Out of the flames of scrutiny, we rise to proclaim our faith with hope to heal a fractured and hurting world. Out of the flames of doubt, we rise to embrace the mystery, wonder, and awe of all there is and all that is yet to be. Out of the flames of hate, we rise with the force of love, love that celebrates our shared humanity. Out of the flames, we rise.
If there are any young people, young at heart, comparatively young people, and you want to come up front, we're going to have our time now for our first Wonderbox of the new year. How's everyone's new year? You stay up till midnight? Yes. Yeah? Did you? No? Later? All right. Don't worry. A lot of the adults don't do that either. I did, but I don't usually. So I'm wondering, this is our Wonderbox. It appears once a week usually, and it helps us to think. And I wonder what might be in the Wonderbox today. So if you haven't opened the Wonderbox ever or in a while, who would like to do so? Louis, do you want to? Oh, good. Oh my gosh, thank you. Do you want? You can go sit down. Thank you. Oh, look at this. Ooh, I don't know what that, have any of you seen this picture before? Have any of you adults maybe seen this picture before? This is a bird called the Sankofa bird. It also has another name, but it's a bird that is from the Akan tribe and mythology. And this is a great image for our time this morning, because in this tradition, see how we don't see his feet, but usually the feet are pointing forwards. But where's his head pointing? Backwards. Well, kind of, yeah, down, but a little bit backwards. And he's got the little pebble. It might be she, they, who knows. And this bird represents a saying that is, it is never wrong to go back for that which is forgotten. It's never wrong to go back for that which is forgotten. And so this year, as we're kind of right on the precipice of a new year and an old year, we're going to be thinking a little bit about what we may have forgotten last year that we want to bring into the new year, and maybe some of the things we want to leave behind in the new year. There's another bird I want to show you. What's this one? Okay, a little more familiarity with this one. This is a what? Phoenix. Yes. So the phoenix is another bird from mythology, spirituality, religion. And then what is the phoenix? Does anyone know what the phoenix does? Anyone remember? Burns up, rises from the flames. This is another great bird for this time of year, or this creature is a great time for this time of year, because sometimes when we think about flames, we think, well, that's the end of that marshmallow, it's gone. But sometimes something new can come from the ashes, not of the marshmallow, but of other things, okay? And so we're going to be talking a little bit about what happens when we burn away our fear or burn away some of the things that might be holding us back, and what might rise out of those ashes this year. So I hope that all of you will find great ways to grow and change this year. And we're going to sing you out to your classes in a second. And because all of you are leaving, you get to take one stone with you. Choose carefully one stone and take it with you to your classes.
As you use, we draw from many sources that inspire our faith. In 1995, Article 2 of the UUA bylaws, which is currently in the process of revision, in 1995, that article was amended to add the sixth source, which states that we are inspired by spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Now, Wicca is one of the many, many earth-centered religions. At some point in the past, friends invited me to join them in investigating Wicca. Soon, I was reading The Spiral Dance, Drawing Down the Moon. I subscribed to Sage Woman magazine, and I was participating in rituals. I am grateful for that exposure. While I don't now consider myself Wiccan or even pagan, some of that still resonates with me, and I use some of what I learned there. Richard Ruah, who was one of the ministers that we enjoyed at the 8th Street Fellowship, encouraged us to explore and then take the best, leave the rest. So I have kept the act of mentally casting a circle when I sit down to meditate, and I have kept the correspondences, which I thoroughly enjoy. Each element, air, water, fire, earth, each element has so many connections. The element of fire is set in the south and is connected to, among other things, noon, summer, blood, will and determination, healing and destroying, purifying, vision, several plants and animals, and to life itself. Space, time, all earth, and spirit show up in the correspondences. I see all this symbolized when I look at a pentacle. Now, humankind has long depended on fire for survival. You know this, for vision, safety, warmth, and cooking, which allowed the species to evolve because they could digest better and had more time for other things. I read that early people considered fire to be sacred. Fire is an important part of culture. We light birthday candles, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa candles, and Diwali lamps. We put eternal flames on graves. There is a sculpture of Prometheus bringing fire at Rockefeller Center. In this room, we light small candles to honor our joys and recognize our sorrows. We light the chalice every Sunday It symbolizes the beacon that we aspire to be, and it reminds us to let our little lights shine. I believe that each of us carries a spark of spirit or divinity inside. The holy is within us, and fire is sacred. Now, it's to be used carefully, for it plays a part in destroying, but also in creating. My son is a forester, and he teaches at the University of Missouri. In one of his classes, his students participate in a prescribed burn. Being able to burn an area of forest in a controlled way is a skill that they will need. Websites from the U.S. Forest Service to Smokey the Bear explain the benefits of burning. It clears out debris, improves the soil, kills damaging insects, and much more. There are pine trees whose seeds will not germinate unless they are exposed to high temperature until there is a fire. Forests need fire. And I need fire. At least the symbol of fire as decision, as commitment, as determination, as confidence, as will. Once I can let go, can banish whatever is stopping me, I still need to grow what is needed instead. Otherwise, I cannot change or develop a new habit or make a difference, even in a small way. And that requires determination, confidence, will, decision-making. These days, I'm trying to revive my habit of meditation, and I ask fire to help me follow through on my decisions. And when I see fire, I'm reminded of my commitments. And this morning, I wonder, what does fire spark in you?
We have one reading for this morning. It's one of my favorites, and I return to it every year at this time of year. It was a snowy night, and Robert was recalling the time 2 springs ago when he was determined to paint the family room. Up early, he was out the door to the hardware store, gathering the gallons of red, the wooden mixing sticks, the drop cloths, and the one-time brushes that always harden no matter what you soak them in. He mixed the paint outside and waddled to the door with a gallon in each hand, the drop cloth under his arm, and a wide brush in his mouth, like this. He began to chuckle in telling what happened. He said, "I teetered there for minutes, trying to open the door, not wanting to put anything down. I was so stubborn. I had the door almost open when I lost my grip, stumbled backward, and wound up on the ground, red gallons all over me." At this point, he laughed at himself, which he has done many times, and we watched the snow fall in silence. I thought of his little story the whole way home. Amazingly, we all do this, whether with groceries or paint or with the stories we feel determined to share. We do this with our love, with our sense of truth, even with our pain. It's such a simple thing, but in a moment of ego, we refuse to put down what we carry in order to open the door. Time and time again, we are offered the chance to learn this. We cannot hold on to things and enter. We cannot hold on to things and enter. We must put down what we carry, open the door, and then take up only what we need to bring inside. It is a basic human sequence: gather, prepare, put down, enter. But failing as we do, we always have that second chance to learn how to fall, to get up, and laugh. I invite us now into a time of meditation. And I want you to meditate on some threshold you are having trouble crossing in your life. It might be at work, at home, in a relationship, or the doorway to greater peace. Breathe steadily and look to yourself to see if you are carrying too much to open the door. Breathe slowly, and with each out breath, put the things you are carrying down. Breathe freely now and open the door. So one of the things that we're doing today is something that has been in the works for years, which is we have at the beginning of our year in August or September, the kind of as people are going back to school perhaps, or we're kind of getting out of the summer months, we do something that we call water communion or water ceremony or the water service, however your spirituality relates to those words. And in this, in that ritual, we invite people to bring water from either travels or a stream or their faucet or a backyard or a rain that they caught sometime in this past year. And we gather them into one bowl, and that becomes a ritual and a symbol of our coming back together and into this shared space. And with this water, something that reminds us of the refreshment that we can be to one another. We actually boil that water and we use it for any kind of special kind of events throughout the year, such as Christmas Eve. Some of you were here and we dedicated Ruby with some of that special water as a way to remember all of our nourishment of not only her, but all of our children and all of you throughout time. And then at the end of the year, this coming June, every year we do something called flower communion, or flower ceremony, or flower festival, or flower service. And this is a kind of a great way to remember our resilience and our beauty and the beauty of our diversity, which we talk about through the story of Norbert Čapek in Czechoslovakia, who died for his beliefs in the 1930s to the Nazis, and that this beauty of resilience to come and bring a flower and to take a different one home is a gift that bookends our year with water communion and flower communion. Well, and then there's a whole lot of space between there. And for a long time, I said, what do we do on the first Sunday of the year? Some people do kind of like the service we do in October, the kind of the remembering those who have passed away in the last year, kind of the first of the year, that could kind of work, but we do that around Halloween and Samhain. So what do we do? And over time, we've talked as a Sunday services team and figured out how might we use fire as an image and a symbol and a part of our ritual at this turning point of the year where we need to close one year and bring about the second. And there's so much imagery and so much writing about this time of year that it felt like a perfect thing to help us year over year on the first Sunday, mark that time with a fire communion. So we're trying it out. It's not tradition yet. See me next year. So this Sunday, all of you are bringing in here some amount of joys and sorrows, reflection from the past year, thinking about the new year. What is this year going to bring? We have an election that's coming up at the end of the year that perhaps is starting us off in a great year of anticipation, anxiety, wonder, hope. And there's a lot of things that'll happen in between now and then. And there might be things going on in your personal lives that you might be facing, or your work lives. And each of us might be kind of holding on to something of a burden of sorts, and something that might prevent us from, as Mark Nepo talks about, going through the door, the threshold before us. And so in this ritual we're going to do today, we're going to kind of have two parts. There's a part of putting down or letting go or burning away, however you want to imagine that. Something that no longer serves us, no longer brings us life, no longer animates us, something that maybe has been really difficult that we've been holding on to. And it might be something very recent. It might be something you've been holding on to for many years or decades. But this is the time where we're given that opportunity to put that down. And we're going to gather those and put them into this cauldron of sorts. And after the service, go out and burn them away in our fire pit. Should be exciting. Then we also have this opportunity to pick something up, to recall that when we give of ourselves, often something returns. Something regenerates in its place. Maybe not the exact same thing, but something regenerates. And that is something that we plan to do as well today through the symbol of these rocks, each of which can be a touchstone, something that is on a nightstand or is in your pocket or in your car, something that to remind you of your strength and your connection to this community of fire and water and earth. And so when you come up, if you come up and you put something into the common bowl, please take a stone as well, Beck, that speaks to you, that jumps out to you. For me, this is taking on a whole different meaning, because yesterday down at Ames Mercantile, which is downtown, it's like a little kind of home store, trendy store. They had a tarot reader, and I've never done it before. And boy, that was powerful. And they also did this thing where it was like a gem or a charm reading. Have any of you ever done this charm reading? So there's this bowl of all these items, like small, trinkets or things that might be on a charm bracelet or a necklace or something. And you're supposed to kind of go in and just grab a handful and then put it in the center, and how it falls tells the person how to kind of react to where things fall and how they fall. And I swear someone was setting me up, because there was some powerful things that came from that seemingly impossible to control experience. It was great because you could take a picture of it, and I'm sure I'll not remember anything, but I'll look at it and be like, yeah. And so I bring this up because I'm really thinking about and she told me what are some of my work that I need to do this year. And some of it relates to putting down and picking up. And one of them was putting down fear, which is embodied a lot in this service, in this Sunday. But also putting down preparation, putting down discernment and moving towards action, moving into just doing it. And, that's really sitting with me, because I feel like we're acting all the time. But I think there's something about this year ahead that invites us as a congregation, 6.5 years together now in this configuration, that this is a year of action, of transformation, of movement. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. I invite you to take a moment now on the piece of paper that's before you or beside you, should be pencils as well. Take a minute or two to write down something that you want to let go of. Something that you feel ready to part with. It could be something physical, it could be something metaphorical, it could be an emotion. Take your time. Help your friend out if there's no pencils near you. And write something on that piece of paper. And we'll have about a minute or two to have this time of reflection. I invite you to just start wrapping up what you're writing, or keep writing. You're in charge. And I think there's 2 steps to this. We're developing the ritual on the fly. Okay? Hope the tradition works. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it. And so many of you may have even other people might you've talked to people about this thing. You've potentially, or maybe not. But it's one thing to verbalize, I'm going to put this down. And so we're going to start with that step. If you wish, we're going to just create space for any 1-word, 2-word cacophony of space, and I will respond to what I hear. Okay. If you feel so moved, you can say a word or a phrase or something that kind of gets to what you're putting down today. Solid, thoughtless reactions. Say it one more time. Sourness, thank you. Shame. Regret. Fear. Worry. Pessimism. Stuff. Yeah. Letting go. Constant motion. Resistance. Patience. Your expectations. Trump. So we've said it, some of us, and some of us are still feeling it and going around. Perhaps there's more than just any one word can hold, and that's probably true. Now we have an opportunity to let it go. It's not going to burn away just yet. That's after the service, but in a moment, we're going to have some music to play. And as you feel willing, able, I invite you to come forward, place it into this pot, and to take a stone and return to your seat. The kids modeled this really well, except one. But the one you touch is the one you take. So look and trust yourself. The one you take is the one you need. Please come forward as you are able. If you didn't get up and do it, you can do it after the service as well, or didn't get a chance to. And we'll have these stones also for folks who maybe weren't here today. A drawback to the sermon? Perhaps something on that stone will be more than a touchstone to you, but a gift. Word, an encouragement, a challenge, something that might be exactly what you wanted to see, perhaps something you really didn't want to see. But remember, you chose it. After the service, as I said, we'll take this out to the fire pit. Feel free to join us. We're not going to throw them in as soon as we get there, so there's time to get out there. For those who don't know, you go out the door. That's kind of where everyone will be going out, and walk along the path to the back. Our fire chief, Donna Stanley, has been tending it all morning. She's not a fire chief, but she's our. I look forward to seeing how this burning away and picking up, how this will transform each of your lives and our lives together this year. The chalice is extinguished. The light goes with us into the world. With this fire of commitment, this putting down and taking up, I invite you out for our fire communion. May it be so, and amen.